Welcome to the Shreveport Connection with Tommy. This video is going to be about all of WWE this week because of the time schedules for the events for WrestleMania week. And off we go to the Wild Blue Yonder to see what's going on. Great Khali will be appearing in a new French movie called Sur la piste du marsupial. I hope I pronounced that right. Randy Orton missed the WWE Super Show in Providence, Rhode Island, because he was said to be sick with a stomach flu, but worked the show at Madison Square Garden the next night. Talents in FCW that were considered as the guys who were most ready for the main roster spot include Husky Harris, Seth Rollins, Dean Ambrose, and Damian Sandow. Triple H's idea is not to debut the guys without a full storyline mapped out and weeks of building it. Another idea coming from Triple H is not to debut several new guys around the same time. FCW Divas Champion and Queen of FCW Raquel Diaz, that's Marie Guerrero, for those that don't know, has been praised for being versatile in being able to change characters and do promos off the top of her head, and learning from her mistakes, taking criticism well, and having a great attitude. It was noted that several women have showed up to FCW tryouts knowing nothing at all about wrestling, so the ones who do know something are able to stand out. WWE superstars Zack Ryder and Alex Riley were visiting kids at Children's Healthcare of Atlanta earlier today with the Ryan Seacrest Foundation earlier today, prior to Raw. Rhythm and blues singer Chili of TLC fame was attending Raw tonight. It's a super show in the ATL. WWE has released a WrestleMania 28 ticket plaque for The Rock versus John Cena. When asked why Alberto Del Rio may be kept off WrestleMania 28, a source with knowledge reporting that it was likely due to Del Rio not being 100% ready to return. Reports from the weekend live event in Puerto Rico, where Del Rio teamed with Ricardo Rodriguez in wrestling action, noted that Del Rio performed very well in the ring. Evan Boyer wrote on his Twitter that he has been hospitalized for a week now. He revealed that he had been in a bad car accident last week and broke his foot in 4 spots and dislocated it in 5 more. So will he return? Very doubtful. As noted before, Layla returned to the ring at an FCW event this past week and received high marks from FCW officials. On a related note, it said that some top officials in WWE have been looking forward to Layla being able to return for some time now, as she is a favorite. One WWE source was under the impression that Layla will be pushed after WrestleMania 28. So, an injury angle that could affect this Sunday's WrestleMania 28 Divas Tag match featuring Kelly and Maria Menounos against Beth Phoenix and Eve will probably not happen due to the fact that New York Post gossip column page 6 reported on Monday that Menounos broke a rib, or possibly 2 ribs, during a recent dancing rehearsal for Dancing with the Stars. She broke the rib during a hardcore rehearsal with her dance partner, Derek Hall, who was teaching her the cha-cha. A source says that she has been in excruciating pain for the past few weeks during a rehearsal, but she is staying strong and working through it. She refuses to give up, so she may go ahead and do the gig at WrestleMania. And page 6 also adds that Menounos is hiding a rib brace under her dancing gear. Menounos confirmed the injury on Extra on Monday, The entertainment news program she hosts says that she suffered 2 broken ribs during a recent dance rehearsal. She will nonetheless perform on tonight's Dancing with the Stars programming. After being crowned the first ever FWE Women's Champion last month in New York, former WWE diva Maria Kanellis lost the title this weekend to TNA Knockout Winter. Winter appeared at the event and put herself into the match between Maria and the TNA Knockout Rosita. Winter will defend the title next month against Melina. So that's where your former divas go. FWE or to Riverside. I think it's Riverside Wrestling up north. We're going around over the weekend. It was The Miz. The Miz will be added to the final participant to Team Laurinaitis. Miz and Mick Foley went back and forth on Twitter over the weekend after Foley teased a possible spot on Team Long as a 6th member and final member. But that was not the case on Monday Night Raw, as you will see who actually took the spot. Not Arn Anderson's spot, but the spot. Or a spot. WWE held a meeting today with talents to discuss the proper use of Twitter and hashtags. Officials want the talents to lead their Twitter followers with WWE-inspired hashtags so WWE can better benefit from social media. So, just another thing for them to stay under character. WWE officials have a new gimmick in mind for Husky Harris as he is on the radar to be brought back to the main roster. Finally, and Husky has dropped from more than 300 pounds to 285 since we last saw him as a regular on WWE TV. The following people will be inducting their proteges into the Hall of Fame. Of course, Christian will, induct Edge. Dusty Rhodes will induct the Four Horsemen. Triple H and Shawn Michaels will induct Mike Tyson. JBL will induct Ron Simmons. The Uso brothers will induct their family member Yokozuna. Alberto Del Rio will induct Mil Mascaras. And WWE did an injury angle on tonight's Raw Super Show with Christian and later announced that he was medically ruled out of the Team Laurinaitis versus Team Long match at WrestleMania. WWE says Christian has re-aggravated his neck injury. More details promise to come soon, but nothing has been mentioned on WWE.com about his actual injuries because it happened during the CM Punk segment on Raw. Okay, and now what everybody's been waiting for is a few matches for Superstars. Only 2 matches for the entire program. Okay, Jonathan Pitts was at the Raw Super Show in Atlanta, passing on along the updates on the Superstars taping. From the Raw brand, Heath Slater defeated Alex Riley. Well, some other dirt sheets I read from Alex Riley's comments on Facebook. He said that been going around that he was injured during the match, but nonetheless, he said he's 100% healthy. And match number 2, Justin Gabriel defeated Tyson Kidd. And SmackDown's taping from tonight and the ATL due to WrestleMania weekend schedule changes, and thanks to Aaron Bailey for the following spoilers on SmackDown. Chris Jericho starts off and defeats Kofi Kingston in a very solid match. There will be 2 reports on the SmackDown portion. Jericho countered the SOS and won with the Walls of Jericho. Zack Ryder defeated Drew McIntyre in a match. Big Show came out and promises to have his WrestleMania moment by defeating Cody Rhodes and winning the Intercontinental title. And your main event, Jinder Mahal comes out, but he is interrupted by DX, that's Shawn Michaels and Triple H, with their DX music. And they joked around on Mahal before he got hit with a pedigree and Sweet Chin Music combo. Shawn said he's still better than Triple H and The Undertaker, and regardless of what happens at WrestleMania, Shawn ran away up the ramp with Triple H chasing him to end the show. Okay. And Jonathan Pitts and Matthew Hyatt were also at the show and passing along SmackDown updates. They also said Chris Jericho defeated Kofi Kingston. An exciting match with several near falls. Jericho's jacket is off the chain in person. So, I guess it was actually back in lighted style, like the Christmas tree. Okay, match number 2, Zack Ryder defeated Drew McIntyre. Ryder used the Rough Rider finish to get the win. Big Show came out and cut a promo on how he would have his WrestleMania moment this Sunday. Surprisingly enough, no interruption from Cody. And your main event, Jinder Mahal came out for a promo. He started to talk, but he was interrupted by DX. Triple H and Shawn Michaels, the crowd went nuts. Jinder took both finishers from Shawn and Triple H. Then Shawn grabbed the mic and said, "No matter what happens Sunday, I'm still better than you." Hunter chased him up the ramp to apparently close out the SmackDown taping. Huge pop for DX. The crowd was hot and ready for Raw. There were no dark matches for tonight's tapings prior from Atlanta. And now for the NXT report from Atlanta. Hunico versus Derek Bateman was taped. Jey Uso versus Titus O'Neil. And also Heath Slater versus Alex Riley and Justin Grable versus Tyson Kidd was taped tonight in Atlanta to air on the Superstars. Sean David attended Monday's Raw Super Show in Atlanta and sent the following report on what happened after the TV show ended. John Cena left the ring. Miz came out and demanded an apology from The Rock, very similar to last week's events, for stealing his spotlight after WrestleMania 27. Nonetheless, Rock told the audience to take out the camera, phones, and tweet. Well, The Rock then shook Miz's hand, and then, guess what? Rock bottom. Alright, Raw opening videos started. I have no results with Hunico versus Bateman and Jey Uso versus Titus O'Neil yet. So, back to the Raw starting, and Michael Cole and Jerry Lawler opened a check-in from ringside, and later introduced Booker T as their special guest for the evening. Special guest announcer. Match number 1 starts off the show immediately. Kane and Daniel Bryan with AJ defeated Randy Orton and Sheamus in 11 minutes 35 seconds. Bell rang and Bryan walked out and shared a kiss with AJ. Prior to the match, which drew some boos from the crowd, Kane caught Sheamus with an uppercut punch that knocked him on the ringside, and Bryan jumped off the ring apron, caught Sheamus with a knee to the head. Commercial break. After the break, Orton went on the offense and worked over Bryan. Orton brawled with Kane and ran him into the post, but Bryan caught Orton with a sliding kick, a baseball slide. Kane covered and tagged into the match and then worked over Orton. Orton made a hot tag to Sheamus, who worked over Bryan with some of his signature offense. Kane, who had tagged out by this point, tried to help his partner, but Orton and Sheamus teamed up to clear the ring. And Orton went for the RKO on the floor, but Kane rammed him into the ring post. Back inside the ring, Sheamus sets up for the brogue kick, but AJ entered the ring and stood in front of Bryan to protect him. Sheamus held up. And as the referee is taking AJ out of the ring, Kane chokeslammed Sheamus from the ring apron while the referee was getting the ring. Bryan took advantage of the chokeslam and pinned him to win the match for his team. Lawler said AJ is either brave girl or very foolish. John Cena, commercial break. A good matchup at the show. Orton and Kane both got their shots in and looked like they were evenly matched heading into WrestleMania. Sheamus got the better of Bryan during the range, got the win. They'd be given a chance going over it on Sunday. But it could also be a case of WWE wanting to put the heat on the heels going into the Mania. Either way, solid hype for both matches. Michael Cole is doing a nice job on play-by-play as his classic heel announcer. He sounds serious and he is making everything feel intense. Unfortunately, Booker is doing way more than he could and hasn't changed his for the go-home show. Well, the only one doing this for him could be because he will be competing at WrestleMania, as you will find out later in this report. Well, Lawler then hyped the 12-man tag for WrestleMania. Michael Cole went to the ring and stood in the ring and put on a Team Johnny t-shirt. That's Cole said he was named the official commentator for Team Johnny on Sunday. He then introduced John Laryngitis and said he would be the general manager of both brands after Sunday. Big Johnny walked in onto the stage and introduced Miss Vicky Guerrero, that's Vicky Guerrero for those that don't know, as the official flag bearer for his team. Vicky walked out waving a Team flag. Laryngitis then introduced team captain David Otunga, who walked onto the stage and then posed, doing his montage of muscle poses, just like Ultimate Warrior did when he was facing Rick Rude. The trio then headed to the ring. Well, Cole saw rejoin the announcer's table as Otunga he started posing in the ring. Laryngitis shook Cole's hand. Booker stood on the announcer's table after Cole saw him made his return and then introduced Teddy to come to the ring, the man who was going to send John Laryngitis to his little office cubicle. Long came out with a mic and introduced team captain Santino Marella. Hornswoggle then came out behind him waving a Team Teddy flag. And your match number 2 is on the way. Santino Marella with Teddy Long and Hornswoggle defeated David Otunga with John Laryngitis and Miss Piggy in 1 minute and 30 seconds. Coleslaw spent the entire match bickering with Booker and Lawler in a tongue-in-cheek manner. Otunga grabbed the early advantage and then waved the flag that he handed him. Hornswoggle then in the ring waved his flag. This distracted Otunga as the flag that Hornswoggle was waving rubbed it on his head. And when he tried to use the flag to take Hornswoggle out of the ring, he bounced back off the ropes and Otunga basically hit himself with the flag, turns around, and the Cobra is delivered from the Cobra from Santino to get the pinfall. Okay, afterwards, Laryngitis entered the ring with Teddy. Laryngitis was throwing a fit of the flag. He was trying to say that the flag was used to win when nobody but his own flag bearer tossed in the flag. So there shouldn't have been any disqualification or anything like that because his own team member did it. Well, okay, when Laryngitis came back in the ring bickering with Teddy, distracted Santino from delivering the Cobra on Laryngitis. As The Miz hit the ring and hit the skull-crushing finale on Santino. Laryngitis then congratulated Miz on being part of Team Laryngitis. But he botched his introduction for that. And then he actually said, "Congrats for being on Team Teddy." He then corrected himself and Johnny. Cole saw and hyped Punk versus Christian for later in Lawler teased something involving the Hell in a Cell match for after the break. So much for Michael Cole taking a serious approach, at least for that match. I'm not a fan of the lighthearted silliness that the match has received. It's hard enough to care about who gains storyline control of the brands. It's even worse when they make it out to be a joke. However, the whole thing was worth it when The Miz being named for the final member of Team Laryngitis, as it was been already advertised last month that the full team would be what it is. But due to injury from later on, Christian was removed from the team, and I assume that means he won't be interfering in the main event. The announcers hyped the WrestleMania theme songs. A video recapped The Rock and John Cena setting up the WrestleMania 28 match after WrestleMania 7. Then a video package, the Cell match for WrestleMania 28. Announcers discussed the match inside the WrestleMania press conference that takes place on this Wednesday at 2:30 in Miami and will be broadcast on the WWE website. And backstage, okay, well, coming to the ring, escorted, was Eve by Beth Phoenix. In other words, Beth Phoenix was in Eve's corner. The announcer said Eve would face Kelly Kelly after the break. Well, a great video set up. Metallica song included. Didn't care for the particular Metallica tune when it was released, but I dig the way WWE is using it. The announcers then hyped another WrestleMania theme song. Kelly Kelly defeated Eve with Beth Phoenix in 2 minutes and 30 seconds. Eve jumped out to the early advantage and Beth yelled at Kelly from the floor. Kelly made a brief comeback, but Eve pushed her down and followed up with a moonsault. Kelly moved and Kelly even scored the pin. Quick, as she escaped the match on top of Beth Phoenix. That was a kind of a botch there, and Beth did nothing about it. Well, Beth was looking great in her red miniskirt dress, real tight and what have you. Okay, but the segment itself did nothing to increase my interest in the Divas match at all. I don't even think the match is even going to happen due to that they mentioned the rib injury that Maria Menounos suffered. Though I must admit that I'm zoning out most of the commentary at a point anyways, especially with Michael Cole. If it wasn't for Booker T, I would have muted the sound on the match myself. A shot aired of CM Punk walking backstage with a serious look on his face. Michael Cole then hyped Punk versus Christian for after the break, as they go to commercial. Christian then made his entrance in a Team Johnny shirt. Punk made his man was in a better mood last week, and as he was back in the ring, telling that it was turn time. Before the match could get away, Chris Jericho on the big screen just last week what he shared about Punk's sponsor. Well, this time he did even more and mentions a few things about his mother. But he just basically says that his mother was the actual decent woman with no vices whatsoever. There were no mistakes whatsoever. Jericho then said he did find out that Punk's parents' wedding date actually took place after his birthday. So that makes you the legal definition of a bastard. And that ends Jericho's little segment. Punk then glared at the screen only to have Christian attacking from behind. Christian tossed Punk to the ringside and went after him on the outside, only to have Punk fire back with a kick. Punk then slammed Christian's head into the announcer table many times, and then blasted him with elbow to the chest. Well, it was more than just elbows. It was like a couple of, you might say, Sheamus forearms or what have you. Boom, boom, boom. Added in there, and then literally got down the device on, and released it, and there was no actual match. It was attacking Christian. He said, well, this is you, Jericho. This is you. Okay. Punk, like I said, Ben moved the ring to hoist Christian up on the GTS position. Well, instead of delivering the GTS, he dropped him head first on the thing. On the ring steps. He said, where you at, Jericho? Punk yelled before putting the GTS and resulted in Christian's head off the ring steps. Punk up the device on the floor again. The referee for the match was supposed to take place pleaded with Punk to stop. Several referees ran out to help. There was like 3 referees this time, and you couldn't get them off. Then another one eventually came out, and then Punk finally released the hold, but then rushed back, jumped over the steps, and put him back in the lock again. The segment showed that Punk's character has reached the boiling point. Jericho's bastard revelation didn't pack the punch that the father and sister comments did. Clearly it wasn't designed to have that effect. Though as it didn't drive home as hard as much as he did the father and sister talk over the last 2 weeks, it was just one more small dose of sleaziness that left viewers wanting to see Punk get his hands on Jericho even more. So it worked on that level. Obviously, Punk vs. Jericho is more important than Christian's role at WrestleMania, but it is a shame that his reintroduction has been so weak. No reason Christian had to be the whipping boy here. More Brodus Clay with Hawkins in a minute. Clay and his dancer did their full entrance after the dancing stopped. Hawkins stood stone face in the ring. He got a brief moment of offense in on Brodus during the match, but Clay right back and performed his offense. And putting a running win. Well, I like Kurt Hawkins more than WWE seems to. It's a shame that they won't even try anymore. Since the last of his push, they had the tag titles back with us. Going back to Christian, I suppose we can't rule out him getting a Punk versus Jericho on Sunday due to injury. That would obviously explain why he was on the receiving end of the Punk beating. Then they have another Rock versus Cena moment airing. This one featured Cena delivering a promo. Lawler hyped the Rock and John Cena meeting face to face later in the show to end Raw. Commercial break. And then an ad aired for the WWE Hall of Fame special that will air prior to Raw next week. Just like the segment, there was an hour show of the Rock versus Cena. I guess it was the life and times of Rock and Cena, the history of them, leading up to the match at WrestleMania 28 for this year, which is next Sunday. And then they talked about the Hall of Fame ceremony at ringside. Match number 5. Big Show beat Epico with Primo and Rosa Mendez in 50 seconds. Lawler busted out the Mamacita line for Rosita. Of course, you know how he is with the women. Coleslaw then announced that Christian was out of the 12-man tag match due to aggravating his injury during the attack. Big Show with a choke slam. Rose walked the stage to promo. He said they will turn Big Show into a verb. That's the Big Show name into a verb this time. They say kids will hope they don't Big Show on their finals, and men will hope they don't Big Show ladies. And people will say take a Big Show. They show the fool of all on April Fool's Day. They go to commercial. Big Show is yeah. You talk about that. Okay, you got one. Well, that explains why Christian took the beating. Honestly, it's hard to watch enthusiasm considering the options. Maybe they'll have Tensai debut at Mania, but that's not going to happen. But they did do the video segment with him, with a partner, or with another guy who was actually from FCW, apparently. And the promo was very funny. He's done a job of being a pest heel, and the fans should pop when Show gets his hands on him. Then again, Cody could get some love from the diehard wrestling fans who attend WrestleMania. And as I was saying, the Lord Tensai video aired at that point, and here's a Japanese sidekick who appeared to be the Sakamoto guy from the WWE Developmental Territory, Florida Championship Wrestling. Backstage, the Bella Twins were wearing opposite t-shirts, one for Team Johnny, one for Team Long. And they were hyping the 12-man tag and bickering over the team to cheer for. Zack Ryder showed up and told both Bellas, who wanted Team Laryngitis to win, to change her face. Well, that offended both Bellas, who then just walked off. After the Bellas left, Eve showed up and asked which hotel Zack is staying at. He said he was staying with the other Team Teddy members. She said she hopes he'll stay at her hotel. He went for a kiss, but she said it would be time to celebrate after WrestleMania, giving him a hint to say, only if you let our team win, then you'll get some booty action. Well, Abraham Washington was talking backstage during that little segment as well. And he was talking to Drew McIntyre, who was later the last member of Team Laryngitis to take Christian's spot at WrestleMania. And he appeared on screen as well, so it looks like he's about to be brought up from FCW. Yeah, you know, the Abe Washington used to have the little segment on with NXT with Tony Atlas. So he's supposedly appearing on SmackDown as well. So it looks like he's about... Okay, I already said that. Backstage, Josh Matthews is interviewing CM Punk, who said that his sister is off limits. He said Jericho's claims about her are a complete fabrication. Punk then said Jericho's claim about his mother is aggressive and a total lie. He said he is not a bastard. He's the best wrestler in the world. Split screenshots of the narrative of Great Khali and Henry walking to the getting ready for their match and walking to the stage and like that they were up next as they go to God Help Us All. This match was not one of they had too many stupid spots, I would call it, because the fact that the finish of the match, I mean, come on, it's like, okay, Khali does a chop, Mark Henry does not even barely sell it, falls down, gets right back up, and just as he's getting ready to step down, Mark Henry picks him up, World Strong Slam, both over with. Enough of that match. Well, that took about 45 seconds. Then Khali jumped out, like I said, on the offense, but Henry came back, finished him off with a World Strong Slam. After the match, Laryngitis threw Long inside the ring. Other members of Team Laryngitis came out and forced a wall, temporary wall. Okay. Santino and Zack Ryder ran out first, trying to break the wall. R-Truth did the same, jumping in on top of the wall, which put them all at ringside. Then Kofi Kingston made it to the ring and jumped into the arms of Mark Henry. Well, he actually had to steps because he used one of the Team Laryngitis team members that was on his hands and knees and jumped from his back to the ring apron, to the ring ropes, and Mark Henry catches him World Strong Slam. Okay. And after that, Henry scooped up Long and was about to slam him, but Booker T entered the ring and hit the scissor kick or axe kick on Henry and knocks him down. After the match, Teddy Mike and thanked Booker for helping in the best way. Thank you was to ask him to join Team Teddy as the final of Teddy's team, and he gladly accepts and says, "Now can you dig, sucker?" Crowd popped and Booker, like I said, "Can you dig that, sucker?" Then Booker did the spinneroonie. Well, that sets up a possible WrestleRooney at WrestleMania. So for Mick Foley on the team, as he seemed to tease last night, fortunately, things that we won't have to listen to on commentary for at least one WrestleMania match because JR will be in the WrestleMania pay-per-view, at least doing the match for the main event, Triple H and versus Undertaker. And the crowd liked the Booker angle, but get the sense that the masses care enough that the 12-man tag justifies all the television time that it's been dedicated to. Additional Rock and Cena highlights aired. The King Lawler hyped that The Rock and Cena would go face after the break. Announcers then hyped one of the wrestling theme songs. Rock made his entrance after Coleslaw announced that taking over YouTube homepage on Friday with The Rock and John Cena hype. There were Rocky chants starting up, some boos mixed in as Rock stood in the middle of the ring and paused. Rock ran his fingers along the Boost to Asses logo on his t-shirt, which inspired a chant. Rock said that at WrestleMania 20 in 2004, he competed in what May felt would be his final match. He said every day since then, he has had people ask him when he's coming back. He said he goes in for his yearly checkup and is told to turn his head and cough. He's asked when he's coming back. I'm not going to drop my pants, for God's sake. You're my dentist. So he said. Rock then said the starlets in Hollywood asked him to dominate some of his delicious pie. He said they tell him first he has to say when he's coming back. He said he told Betty White he doesn't know when and told her to cover up her Civil War pie, which was trending worldwide. And a few minutes later, as a little words on the bottom of the screen, you know the WWE update and what have you. Then Rock recalled that Rock went down to Georgia at WrestleMania 27, and then he does his little segment where finally the Rock has come back to Atlanta. Rock then said he knows that when the wait is over, a few guys chanted boots to asses as he stopped in hopes that it would pick up steam. Not so much. Rock said he was in the same arena that the match was set last year. He said history was made because of the fans. He said that in 6 days he returns to the grandest stage of them all. And he said it all happens in this arena. He delivered the final lines. Got plenty of cheers, but more than usual. Rock says there's only one man the fans wanted to see him face at WrestleMania. He the millions line and big return from the WWE Universe in Atlanta. And he said that man is John Cena, which drew a loud chorus of boos from the crowd. Rock says Cena has become the heartbeat of WWE and one of the biggest stars in history. He said Cena has never faced anyone who brings it like he does. Well, that sets up John's entrance music as it interrupts Rock. He walked out and looked into the camera and spoke like they were 6 days away. Cena said, went to the ring and the wrestling sign. Once Cena's music stopped, he received a round of boos with cheers sprinkled in. And he's quoted up saying, "Do you hear that?" Cena asked. "I've been knocked around, but even I can hear that." "Do you hear that?" Cena said. "Exactly what's going to happen at WrestleMania. Nothing new to me. Happens all the time." Cena took exception to The Rock saying he's never seen anything like him. He said Rock has never seen anything like him. As the show goes past the 9 o'clock hour, for a year now I have listened to the best trash talk from undoubtedly the best trash talker in business. The man behind the era of attitude, Cena said, Rock brought my mom into it. Cena said he's still there with a smile on his face. Cena said Rock is the best trash talker, but he's not the first. Cena says the list of the people who talk trash about him was as long as Strudel, or Moses, or Benjamin Franklin, or whatever you're calling your penis these days, which is a repeat from a couple weeks ago. Cena conducted a "Let's Go Cena" and "Cena Sucks" chant momentarily as himself, and he's actually directing the choir as he's saying it. and said The Rock can't deny the pure emotion that occurs every time he steps foot inside the ring. He brought up the Let's Go Cena again chant. Cena sucks chant. Cena said every single wrestler has turned his back on the WWE Universe at one time, including The Rock. He said he's the only guy who does what the t-shirt says, rise above the hate. Cena said the kicker is that he rises above and still wins. Cena said that's what gets his detractors. Cena said his detractors may hate it, but they know that he's going to win at WrestleMania. Cena said he's been an active member of the WWE longer than The Rock has ever been in the company. He said he's had his ups and his downs and has been there when it wasn't so cool to be a WWE superstar. Even in the good times and the bad times, I'm the guy who beats the company drum. He said so many people say this is what I love that has become a cliche. Cena then says when he says it regardless of whether people like my character or whether they don't. Well, he means it. Cena said The Rock will star in G.I. Joe this summer. He said that will launch Rock into a new atmosphere. Meanwhile, Cena said his office won't change, and WWE will still be his life. Cena says that he will be, as they bleeped it out, and everybody could read his lips and say, "Down." If Rock comes in a visitor and takes his life from him, Cena said it's been 10 years and he's only getting started. Cena says he has to win and fans know it. Rock nodded. The Rock knows how important this match is to you, John. It's just as important as it is to The Rock. Rock was censored as well, as he said on his own GD line. He said he helped build the WWE house. He said the fans know that Cena has never encountered anyone like him. Rock said the people know that The Rock came back to beat you. That's me. Never before has a man able to say that he walked into WrestleMania and beat Hulk Hogan, beat Stone Cold, and John Cena. The Rock then said he needs to beat Cena on a professional level to be greatest of all time. On a personal, I just don't like you, Rock said, and because of that, just John 6 days. In 6 days, The Rock will tell you to your face. Not only is The Rock going to beat you, Rock is going to give you the ass kicking of a lifetime. You know it, The Rock knows it, and you can bet your ass that they know it too. Cena had a straight face during Rock's promo, fired back. It doesn't matter what Cena said. He would in turn when he said he's the most times he said he'll be the guy with hand raised it high at the headline. John Cena whips The Rock at WrestleMania, and then dropped the microphones and engaged in a face stare down to Raw. And that ends my report on WWE this week. And peace out. God bless. If I find out any more info on the NXT results, I guess I'll post it in what 10-15 second videos. That's only how long the report NXT are. Like 3 minutes, okay. Good guy won, bad guy won, end of show. Right. That's enough of my rant and raving on NXT Superstars, SmackDown results as well. And that'll be it for this week. Until